Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk you guys through my top 3 Australian river dry flies. Now I was a little bit reluctant in doing this video just because it's so hard to narrow fly choice down to like my top three patterns, because there are just so many I use, and there are so many I couldn't include today that I love to fish, like parachute mayfly, the parachute Adams, clink hammers, ant patterns. I love ant patterns, hoppers. So bear that in mind when I do go through this. I couldn't include everything. Today, the ones I'm going to talk you through are what I found to be my 3 most reliable, consistent, all year round patterns. Because there are some great flies out there, but they're only good in the heat of summer. And there are some really good late season blue-winged olive patterns, but again, not so good through the middle of summer and earlier in the season. So these flies here today are just my best all-round river dry flies, turning up to a river, have confidence catching on them all year round. So let's do it. My first fly is an Airfly. Such a simple fly and probably my favorite river dry fly just ever. Essentially, it's such an old pattern. It's been around since before I was born. I love the Airfly so much because it's a fly that doesn't really imitate anything and imitates everything at the exact same time. So it's not overly complicated. It's essentially just food and fish eat it. It is the #1 dry. Whenever I turn up to a pool and there's a fish sipping in the pool in the flat water, this is the fly. It's really good for tough, spooky fish in flat water because it is so simple, clean and neat. The other reason I love my CDC flies, CDC is just so good because when a fish does eat a CDC dry, there's no resistance. The CDC wing slicks down, it's just the hook. There's no hackle or stiff fibers of any sort like deer hair that can get in the way and create resistance. When a fish eats a CDC fly, they pretty much just get the hook. So you end up sticking a lot more fish that eat the fly and you end up landing a lot more as well. So CDC just all around is great, which is one of the reasons the Airfly is just so versatile, so good. And if you tie it big, you know, a size 18 Airfly like this one here turns into a CDC sedge when it's in a 16 or a 14. So very simple. And again, tie a tag onto the back and it's an orange tag sedge, like an orange tag. And again, it's another one of my favorite dries that I'm not including today. Okay, second fly is the Tavernas, the parachute caddis. I first fished this fly in 2016 at the World Championships in America when the Australian coach Jan Kaleri of the time, former team world champion of the French team, was showing us using it, tying it for us. Such a good fly because, I mean, it's the fly I probably guide with the most. It has the high-vis post, which is super helpful. It has a parachute hackle like a parachute, not a conventional hackle. So it holds a nymph under dry really well because it suspends it really well, and the fly still fishes well when it is nymph under dry. A lot of flies, if you try to fish the nymph under dry, they end up tilting like that and they don't tow very well. They don't support nymphs well and fish equally as well as a dry themselves. Tavernas does. Deer hair is a different profile on the water to CDC. Really good when you're catching a lot of fish because it's really easy to treat and dry. CDC can be a little bit tough, and you don't have to be as careful in managing this fly when you're fishing up the river as far as dragging it behind you, that sort of thing. So Tavernas, probably my favorite guiding fly. It's really good because again, you tie it small, it's versatile on tougher fish, but you can tie it really big in like a 10 in summer, and the way the fly looks, you think, gee, that's a hopper. You can just slap it around and fish it like a big terrestrial, like a hopper, and it works absolutely fine. So it is so versatile for that reason. All right, and last one is CDC split wing mayfly. As I said earlier, I love CDC because of the way the material behaves. It rides really high in the water. There's no resistance when a fish eats it, so he just gets the hook, so you get fantastic hook sets. Whereas if you fish a fly like a stimulator, there's so much hackle, you miss heaps of fish on those sorts of flies. So I mean, there's a reason why half of my box is CDC, and then the other half is, you know, other stuff like parachute flies, chubby Chernobyls, some ants, red tags, river snats, that kind of thing. So love the CDC split wing mayfly. Fish it with a tail or with the shuck out the back, that's good. I really like it in grey or in a light dun colour. The Victorian Fly Fishing Championships held a few weeks ago, which I won on the Mitter, the first round of the season, yeah, on the Mitter. This dry was my best dry in a size 16 to size 14. So I really like it because it's simple, it's pretty unrefusable because it doesn't have too many hotspots or doesn't have any hotspots or anything crazy going on. It's just a really nice imitative fly that imitates a range of things, but mainly a mayfly. And because it is a split wing and an upwing, it just has a lovely footprint on the water. It's a little bit different, and you can animate this fly and twitch it. which is really nice. A lot of flies don't fish well if you're dragging them, whereas this one does if you're giving it a little pop and jig around. Hope that's helpful for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this video comes out all right for you. As I said, it's a bit rambly. And again, just remember that the drift is the most important thing, not the fly. Any dry fly will catch a fish if you're throwing it at the right fish with a good presentation. So just keep that in mind. It's not all about the flies. Good flies help a lot, but the presentation comes first, then the fly comes second. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video, everyone. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's a massive help for me. So thanks, guys.